Hello and welcome back. I'm Brian Greer. This is Game Brigade, and today we're doing the June callback. We've gone through, so for anyone that's new to the show, we have some people dropping in every once in a while that are new. We have a thing called the Kickstarter callback. It's where I go back 1 month and talk about everything that I did or didn't back in the month of June or May, whatever month was the previous month. This month would be June. So this would normally be the Kickstarter callback for the month of June. We have since kind of changed that format to include some more features, and I think I'm going to change it some more. So two things as we go into this video. I am looking for a dialogue from you guys in the audience to let me know what works, what doesn't work, what would you love to see more? Because really this channel is a community. It's for you guys. I do it mostly for you. I'll put this pen down before I drive myself nuts playing with it. But really, yeah, like I said, this is all for you guys. I'm doing this for the audience experience. So we are going to be talking about games we played, games we acquired, games we let go. So basically everything plus games I backed. And then we'll just kind of a conversation regarding the channel in general. So if you guys have seen, here I pick up the pen again. We have kind of been doing more reviews lately in the show, really trying to focus on doing some of those Kickstarter reviews or first impression videos, really trying to delve myself deeper into the review space. I've been very hard on myself on my reviews. Sometimes, you know, as a content creator, we watch a video and we critique ourselves. We look at every little thing. There's always something we forget or we miss. So I've been very much trying to hone down my reviews. Now, they're nowhere near perfect. They're nowhere near, and they'll never be perfect, but they're nowhere where I think I want them to be long term. But I do see myself growing in terms of finding my voice, finding the way I like to present the information. So I'm happy with that. We're going to hopefully keep doing these reviews. And I've been very, very excited with some of the direction I've taken the channel. And to talk about that, I went on a vacation, like I said, for my anniversary. I spent the whole 2 weeks they were there, brainstorming the channel, writing down notes, thinking about different ideas, different shows, something like this that I wanted to bring to the show that I think would bring more value. And I thought, what do I like to watch on YouTube? What's the content that I like to absorb? And I feel like that's what my audience would like to absorb. So if I'm wrong, let me know, because I could be totally off base. So that's covering reviews. The biggest thing we've changed in terms of the content on the show, and this is kind of a trial period, is the KS Weekly, the Kickstarter Weekly, Crowdfunding Weekly section, where I've been covering every single game coming out to crowdfunding for the month of whatever, or the week. It's actually usually just a week out. And I've been releasing those on Friday so that you guys have the weekend to check them out, do anything you want to do in terms of researching as they launch. I still question the date. The date could be wrong. I used to launch them on Monday, but I felt like there wasn't enough lead time for you guys to know everything happening on Monday. So I've tried to do them on Friday now. But I've also noticed there's a lot of chaff in Kickstarter. You know, there's a lot of games that are like, and is it worth my time to tell you about these guys? Like how many, and I don't want to be mean to people, but they're like to publishers or whatnot, but there's sometimes games that are like, I don't think this is even worth covering. And my previous show was the Kickstarter Kickoff, where I just covered the games that interested me that week. That way you guys would know if there was anything good or anything worthwhile to take a look at. But sometimes there'd be weeks that there would be nothing to look at. I'm like, shoot, I can't have a weekly show and not have weekly content. So we'll adapt it. So that's what KS Weekly has now become. And I title it KS Weekly more for myself as like a self-programming to remind myself what the show is. But it's the crowdfunding because it does include GameFound. But I'm curious, what do you guys like about that kind of show? I've always said that there's other people who create content like that, and I don't necessarily think that it's bad to have more voices in the space because we all have different opinions or perspectives that we can have on it. And as audience members, you guys kind of gravitate towards who has a voice that matches your opinion. So I don't necessarily think it's bad to have more people in a space. But what I want to know is what is worth it in terms of what is going to make it more enjoyable for you guys in terms of watching it. Is covering just the bigger titles good? Covering all the titles? What works, what doesn't work, and how much in-depth diving do we do on those campaigns? I try to do as much information research as possible with what's available. Sometimes campaigns just don't give you information. Like there's nothing anywhere. So you just kind of have to extrapolate based on the photos and some of the people in the comment section. But other than that, I like to know, because that is right now the big change. Other than this current episode, is the KS Weekly in terms of the new segments on the show. Going from that, I have been enjoying YouTube a lot lately, and I kind of want to talk about some of the channels that I've been watching. I go through phases, and I bet most people do this, where I watch certain channels, a lot, and then I forget about some of the channels. I don't watch them anymore until they come back in my space. So right now, I would say there are 3 channels that I really want to highlight and they're not necessarily like they need my support, because they're doing very well in terms of their growth. But there's 3 channels that definitely have been very good for me. There's 2 other channels that I watch on occasion. So I want to give them some shout outs. The big one right now for me is obviously Alex at Board Game Co. Guy is consistently nailing it for me in the terms of the production quality. His opinions and the way he shares his thoughts has always been very clear, and he presents himself in a sense that what he's talking about, and I value that. And so I wanted to give Alex a shout. If you haven't seen Board Game Co., you'll probably see his recommendations. They're constantly recommended on YouTube, at least for me. But I've been definitely, I absorb a lot of his content when I'm watching. Actually, I don't even watch him. I actually listen to him when I'm driving for work. Listen to his show almost every single day. So that is Board Game Co. Another one that actually just recently popped back up onto the space is Ant Lab Games. They had taken a hiatus, I think in early January, right around the Super Bowl. And they were the first duo couples playthrough channel that I really watched and enjoyed, because you kind of got to know their personality. And then they took a leave, and I kind of was, vacated that space a little bit, and they're back. And they're kind of doing some new shows on their channel, which is great. Instead of just doing playthroughs, they're doing some other things. So I've really much enjoyed watching Francis and Anthony's YouTube channel, Ant Lab Games. The other one, the other big 3, is Legia Games. Legia Games has kind of come out of nowhere within the last, I don't want to say nowhere, because he's been grinding for about a year now. But the last 6 months, dude has been killing it, getting some great review copies. He's got Levion Rising. He's got, I believe he did Deliverance, which I have the shirt for right now. The Witcher, just big titles. And for people to understand that for us content creators, sub 5,000 subscribers, it is hard to get noticed by a big publisher to get bigger titles. So when you do get there and you're at 3,000 or 2,000 subscribers, that is a huge accomplishment. And so Legia Games has definitely been putting out content, sometimes weekly content matching Board Game Co. Definitely worth a subscription and a checkout, if you're looking for it. The other 2 channels that I still, pay attention to, don't watch as much as I used to, but King of Average, I enjoy King of Average's content. He has pretty good unboxing videos, and I like to see all the content. And Quackalope with Jesse is kind of been a mainstay for me. Watching it more with Shira, definitely a good addition there. So I think she should take over the channel. We should just push Jessie out of there and let her run the channel from now on. I think that would be a good swap. So that's my YouTubers, but that's about it for the new stuff. Let's talk about the games I backed, and this is actually going to be fairly short. I brought my laptop over just to make sure I didn't forget anything. But the month of June was very, very light for me in terms of Kickstarter backing. I have been very, very vocal with you guys as to really wanting to reduce the amount of games I'm backing. And I want to be very particular about the games that I'm bringing to my collection, making sure it's a curated list and that everything has a space and looks good and it's like primo games. And the reason for that is you're going to see the games that I acquired, my new acquisitions for this month of June. You're going to see how many games are new into my collection, and you're going to understand why I'm like pushing the brake a little bit. So in terms of the games, Six Siege, the board game, was the only game from Kickstarter that I backed. And that one I was pretty clear about in the video, the Should You Back video, which has not gotten a lot of views. And I'm pretty upset because that video was a stellar video. So you haven't seen my Six Siege, Should You Back It, you should watch it, even though campaign's over now, but late pledge will be open. But Six Siege, the board game, I did go all in. I did the smooth operator pledge on that one. And that one was one that I don't necessarily think everyone should do the smooth operator pledge. I don't even think I should do it myself. I probably am not going to play all the content. But I love Rainbow Six. I love Six Siege. These are IPs and games that I've been playing for the good part of 15, almost 20 years now. And the way the game looks on the board and the way it emulates the video game so well, I just had to have it. It's something that, even if I don't play it, it's going to be part of my collection and something I'll be happy to look at. And that's one of the things about my collection that is maybe different for me, is sometimes I have pieces to my collection that are just a completionist piece of my whole scape, my whole collection. There's things I just want to look at. So, reminding me of something I'll tell you guys in a sec. That was it for Kickstarter. For GameFound, I only backed one game. And it's still live right now as of the time of the recording. And that's Levon Rising for Wild Ascent. I very much loved Wild Ascent. I gave it a 8, I think an 8.1 on my rating scale. I can't remember fully. And it was in the lower 8s. I think an 8.1. But I said it could be a 9. And 9s are very rare for me. And so, of course, that was maybe me throwing the number around a little bit. But 9s are rare. So there's definitely something there with Wild Ascent that intrigued me a lot to be able to say something like that. But I felt like it needed to be fixed. And Levon Rising is supposed to be, Levon, I don't know, was supposed to fix those problems that I had. Now, it's a big change, though. It's an expensive change. And so I originally was backing the all-in, which was like $350. And I was planning on selling my current copy of Wild Ascent, just picking up all the new stuff and going from there. They do have some new pledges to, like, if you already have Wild Ascent, you can just pick up the newer stuff. So that's where I'm at right now. I think it's like $128 or something like that. I think that's where I'm at right now. But I have it marked here on my list as pending because I'm kind of curious, like, Wild Ascent's not unplayable. I can still play the game. And do I back another game that interests me, or do I continue going in on Wild Ascent and maybe miss out on another game? And the other game that I'm looking at that's on late pledge right now, made by the same people, is Storm Sunder. I did not back Storm Sunder. And now I'm wondering, should I back it? Should I late pledge Storm Sunder? So maybe I'm asking this. This is a question to the audience. Question of the day. Hashtag question of the day. Do you back Storm Sunder and be okay? I can go all in on that and feel pretty comfortable doing that. But I don't feel comfortable doing that also going in around that $200 mark for Levon Rising. So which one is a better purchase? Do you complete the game you already own? Or do you keep what you already own as a playable piece? And do you pick up another game that looks interesting that kind of matches kind of the idea we were doing? So that's where I'm at right now. I have it marked as pending, and I'm telling you, in my opinion, I'm probably just going to do both because I'm so weak-willed sometimes. I really don't want to, but I'm very weak-willed. So I'm trying my best to not do both. I really asking to the audience, let me know what you guys think. So with that, boom, I don't want to beat on the drum because it actually sounds really bad on the mic. We're talking about the games that I played. Now, I could actually pull them out, but I'm not going to. Yeah, games I play. Okay, yeah, we're going to do this way. I don't know how we're going to do this. So I was going to do the games that I acquired. Some of the games I acquired are also in the games that I played. Cancel. I'm deleting plays now by accident. Let's do games I acquired first, and then we'll do games I played. So games I acquired. These are new games that I picked up for the month of June. And there was a lot. And I'm thinking I have everything. from what I can see. I do think I have everything. I picked up a pack of Magic Commander decks from Prime Day, Amazon Prime Day. Not going to be in this video because I don't really cover Magic the Gathering anymore, but it is kind of a tabletop game. I did pick up all 5 of the what is the new set? I'm not sure what the new set is, but I picked up the 5 Commander decks for that, so that's a bonus ad. But let's see. The first game I picked up is Shadows over Camelot, and I already own this game, so why would I buy it again? Well, someone was selling this, and they had a fairly decent price on it, and they weren't positive about the contents, if this included the Merlin expansion. And I thought, the price is good. They're not sure what the contents are. I can reasonably make my money back if I buy it and it doesn't have what I want. I could sell it again. And unfortunately, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be selling it. It doesn't have the Merlin expansion. I've heard, and the reason I did that is I've been hearing these crazy stories of people buying it and having the Merlin expansion. And I was like, man, mate, you never know. You never know. So if I could buy it for a good price and be able to sell it and make my money back, or plus some, which is what I think I can do with this one, we'll take a shot. So Shadows over Camelot was one of the games I got this month. And I'm going to try to do this, so let me move this out of the way, that we have room for me to move this stuff and kind of make it work well. The next game we got this month was Destinies from Lucky Duck Game. I keep telling you guys that we're going to have a review for this game, and I keep not doing it because I'm working on other reviews that I'm contractually obligated to get out. But I finally finished the last contractually obligated review, so now I can get back to Destinies and get that taken care of. Great game. In fact, you're going to see a lot of plays. Well, I don't necessarily list how many plays I have, but we have a lot of plays of Destinies. In fact, I've played, I think I mentioned this already, I've got 2 campaigns going on with 2 different people, my wife and another member from my player group who we play a lot of games with. So I've kind of got 2 games going on. Just because I wanted to see what the differences were for playing 2 different people, and if anything changes in the story by having, actions change. So there were some reasons I wanted to do that for the review purposes, plus it's a good game. We also got, this is a big one, and this is actually part of my background now, so it's actually off the wall for now, but Who Goes There 2nd edition. This was a Kickstarter back that I did. And I think I did this right when I started doing content creation. So I'm not sure if I talked about this or not. But Who Goes There? This is based on the IP for, The Thing. The Thing was based off a book called Who Goes There. This is actually the IP holder for Who Goes There. And the 2nd edition was printed. The 1st edition did well and was, I believe, Kickstarter exclusive, and maintain its value relatively well. The 2nd edition was released because they had some problems they had with the people complaining about the gameplay aspects and saying that there's some mistakes they should do with the hidden trader role part of the game. So they wanted to fix those problems. Plus, their IP was expiring and they were not renewing it. They were not getting the IP again. So this was the last possible chance that they could print this game again. So I figured that to me is you got to get it. It's the last possible chance you're going to get this game. So Who Goes There 2nd edition, the deluxe version is what I got. And then we got that's backwards. Terraforming Mars Big Box. This is also going to be part of my display behind us. I always think the box is scratched because on the top here it looks kind of scratched. I don't want to tip it over because I'm imagining everything inside just going nuts on me. But we picked this up. I was very, very excited for Terraforming Mars Big Box. In fact, every time we've had a player group and people are like, let's play Terraforming Mars, I'm like, no, we're not playing Terraforming Mars. I just use my dad voice. No, we're not playing Terraforming Mars until I get my big box, because I didn't want to burn out the game like we did Wingspan, where we played that to death, and now I'm like, I just can't play Wingspan anymore. I didn't want to do that again. So I was like, no. We're going to wait till we get my Terraforming Mars, stuff, and then we're going to jam it out and play it. So that's that. Very happy with Terraforming Mars, big box. People sitting here complaining about the quality of the components, and I'm like, they look just like the Kickstarter. I mean, I don't know what people are expecting. They literally look to me like the prototypes were shown on the campaign page. So I think people are just tripping. I don't know what's going on there. Okay. More stuff. Guys, I'm telling you, I got so many things. And this is the reason why I had to stop backing. This was not a back. This was me. This is Tainted Grail, the Fall of Avalon, the King's Pledge. I've got the rest of the pledge down here. This was an acquisition from Facebook Marketplace. And I have a search on right now for Facebook for board games. So anything that pops up that is a potential deal or a game that I want, I'll be notified. And Tainted Grail was a game that I've been wanting but didn't want to pay the exorbitant prices that were on eBay or Facebook and whatnot. And when someone posted this, they had a good price. I mean, they did well on their money. They didn't lose any money on their pledge. But I didn't have to pay shipping costs because it was local. So picked this up and very happy about it because the guy who sold this to me is now part of my player group, or at least I hope he is. He came out and he played a game with us and very much enjoyed his company. And so I think we're going to try to bring him in. One of us. You know, we're going to bring him into the fold, right, guys? So that's Tainted Grail. Probably a game I'll never play, knowing me, but I don't want to say that. But that's how it feels like sometimes. When you have like so many games coming in 1 month, how can you play all of them? I'll move that Tainted Grail here in a second. This is upside down. Okay. And I've been working very hard to make sure every box is right-sided so that this is accurate to the back. I literally do that now with every game. I want to make sure they're always correct. Kemet Blood and Sand. This is one of the first games I covered on the channel with a Should You Back. And I backed it. And now I got it. And we have not played it. And I hope to play it soon. This is one that we were looking forward to playing. And just so many games. There's literally so many games that came in June. I didn't have time to play this yet. But it's punched, fully put away, ready to go. Looking forward to it. And so that not much else to say other than the insert looks good and the miniatures look okay. I think that's about it. I was frustrated when I did this because sometimes I wish that publishers would put like tutorials on how to put things away in their boxes. Okay, I really want to move that Tainted Grail. It feels like it's really taking the space. Okay, boom. This guy has been now part of my background as well. It will be taking up this spot, if you can see it right here, next to Company Heroes. And this is Nemesis. And very happy we got this game. Finally got to play through this one, which we'll talk about. And went all in on Nemesis. Also went all in on the newest game that we talked about. So what can I say? Very happy with Nemesis. I'll talk about it when we get to the play session, though, because we're getting there. And I'm just going to have so many games. Alex, how do you do this? Okay. Genotype. Still in wrap. This is the collector's edition for the for this game from Genius Games. And this one was lost in shipment. So this game actually fulfilled, I feel like 2 months ago for most people, but they had 500 or so collector's editions that went missing. And they offered us refunds, or they could send us a standard edition box and send us components that make up the collector's edition, but we wouldn't have the collector's edition box. Or we could wait and see if they ever found it. So they actually did find the games that were lost, and they got it to us. It took about 2 extra months. I didn't care because I literally have a million games to play. And so when this arrived on my doorstep, I actually didn't know what it was because I was like, I didn't order anything, and I'm not expecting a shipment from anything because you usually get a message from like Quartermaster Logistics or something and says, hey, your Kickstarter's in the way. Didn't get any message for this one, so literally it was at the door, and my wife thought I got a prototype or something, and I was like, I don't know what it could be. it was Genotype. So there you go. This one doesn't really count because it's a prototype. I'm wearing the shirt. This will be a review we got going on. Unfortunately, it probably will not be done by the time the campaign is done, but Deliverance looks very, very fun for the type of game that I like to play. So this is on the list, but I usually don't count prototypes. I probably shouldn't anyways. There's a bunch of prototypes I've actually gotten this month in June that I sent on already, and I'm not sure what's going to happen with this prototype. My guess is that Andrew's going to want me to send this on as well, but I'm expecting to have this content done for Deliverance by the time the late pledge opens up. So if you guys haven't yet backed Deliverance and you're waiting on my opinion, because my opinion matters, I guess, wait for the late pledge. Okay. We're coming down to it. This one, Impulse Buy. Lords of Waterdeep, still in shrink wrap. I bought this on Prime Day because it was like $16. And why not? It's a game I've never played. I've heard great things about it. And in fact, I've heard really good things about it. Older game from FFG. And Wizard of the Coast, right? FFG? I'm pretty sure it was FFG. It might be just Wizard of the Coast. I sometimes talk out of my butt. Wizard of the Coast, okay. I thought it was FFG. Oh, well. Literally don't listen to me. Wizards of the Coast. Now I'm really losing my mind. I don't know why I thought it was FFG. Wizards of the Coast. Yeah, it's Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, ignore everything I said. Old game from Wizards of the Coast, as I've known. And yeah, $16. Literally had no intentions of buying this game or adding it, but Prime Day, sometimes the sales are good enough, and people say sales aren't sales. Look, $16 for this, I think I'll be happy with it. Even if I don't play it, I'll look at it. It's got a good spot. This is getting crazy over here. The last game, last acquisition to the collection, Oath. And I have not yet punched this, so we unboxed this on stream. In fact, we unboxed Nemesis, we unboxed Who Goes There, we unboxed Oath, we unboxed Terraforming Mars Big Box, and we unboxed Destinies. So we've unboxed a lot of these games. So you guys, if you follow the show, if you follow the stream, you've seen this stuff. Everything is been fully punched except for Oath. Oath is a game I'm not quite ready to fully get it prepped for gameplay because I feel like we're a ways out on playing it, but I really want to play it. It's getting some interesting reviews. Some people are saying it's amazing. Some people are saying it's really not what they thought. So I'm kind of curious what my thoughts will be on this one. So yeah, but I'm probably maybe, I would almost say 2 months out before playing this game, unfortunately. And that's, again, one of the reasons why I wanted to stop backing so many games. Because I just have so many games coming in. When you look at your, like, the shipment list, you're like, oh my gosh, I have 10 games getting ready to deliver. So, like, I've got at least 3 games, like, getting ready to ship, supposedly. So they're just more and more games plus prototypes. You gotta slow down a little bit and not back as much. So that were the new games. So let's go into the games I played, and then we'll talk about the games I sold and left the collection. So for the month of June, what did we do? We started off with Destinies. We played a lot of Destinies right off the bat. There's multiple plays with my wife and Adam, and we really like Destinies. In fact, we do have Destinies. Actually, yeah, we have a lot of Destinies. At least 7 plays in the beginning of the month where we jammed out Destinies. The Feds is a game you guys don't know about, but we played. That's a prototype we played for a Kickstarter release. Hopefully, I think it's going to be later in summer, August, September. I'm not sure. That's going to be a Dr. Finn's title. We also have Little Flower Shop, the dice game. Little Flower Shop is already a game that exists, but they're doing kind of some retooling for it for the Kickstarter for Dr. Finn. So I played both those games. We have reviews of both those games, but those will be released obviously closer to the Kickstarter, so you can see my first impression reviews of either game if you're interested in that. Then we played some Wild Ascent. We got a lot of Wild Ascent in because we needed to get that gameplay played prior to my review because the Kickstarter was coming out And so that was a priority for me. So we played a lot of Wild Ascent to try to get as much content, like depth, into the actual campaign. That way I have a good feeling of how the game works. So that was a priority. So throughout the 10th to the 20th, we jammed out a lot of Wild Ascent. And then we played Company Heroes, the board game over here. If you, I don't know if you can see it. It might be blocked off. But it will be over there from now on. That's its new home. We played some Company Heroes, the board game. I am a big fan of the video game. Played almost 1,500, actually probably over 1,500 hours of the, dating myself here, of the video game, and played the board game. There are some things with the board game that I'm kind of wishing were a little different, just because of the way it plays. But overall, very good translation of a video game to a board game, which is already difficult as it is, and it's a real-time strategy experience. So I think they did a fairly good job. I will also say that the player we were playing with, we were doing basic rules and advanced rules. I feel like you just got to play with the advanced rules. I know it's like new and it might be harder to grasp, but the basic rules really pull away from the game. I feel like you have to have those advanced rules to make the game as good as possible. And then last week we played Nemesis. So we actually played 2 games last week for our player group. We played Nemesis, and that was with the gentleman who sold me Tainted Grail and a few of my other members from the player group. So thank you guys for coming out. I had a great time playing Nemesis. In fact, easily could be part of my top 10 of 2021 for games I've played. And I don't want to spoil that list yet, because obviously I haven't fully fleshed it out. But Nemesis was a lot of fun and very thematic. I love the excitement people had, the stories we shared. I didn't care that I died at the end. I played what I thought was my role, and I did everything I needed to do. And I got an infection card right before I decided to go into hibernation. And I said, you know what? We're just going to roll it. We're going to roll that the infection's not, I'm not actually infected. In fact, I was infected. And then I died. But I had fun. It's a story I could tell, and I remembered it. And one of the other players in our group was broken arm and broken leg and just beat the heck and fought his way to get an infection, to get himself cured, and made it back and got himself to safety and actually lived. Those are stories you don't get in board games. And it was something I talked about when I did the podcast with IV Games, that you just don't get. You don't get that very often in games where you can replay stories and talk about the bad beats or the fun stories. Nemesis brought it to me full-fold. Really enjoyed that playthrough. We then played Dwellings of Elder Vale again that night. So Dwellings, of course, I keep Dwellings back here. Dwellings was a great game. I got my butt kicked again. I don't know why my brain cannot figure that game out. It's not that I don't figure it out. It's just like I feel like I'm not doing the things quick enough, because I see people doing something like, oh yeah, I really should have been doing that from the start. I really should have been focusing more. So that's something I freaked up. And then we've been playing Soul Raiders the last week of June up through July. In fact, Soul Raiders, that is for a review and a prototype that we filmed. Just did the filming today for the prototype, so that's done. And that Kickstarter goes live on the 7th. So that will wrap up the games that I played. And we're actually almost done with this episode today. We're coming out. I wish I could see exactly how long this video is. It's long. 37 minutes. Holy cow. Games I sold. So this will be quick because I don't have the games. I can't show you the boxes. But I sold 3 games in the month of June, and I'm planning on selling a bunch more. I'm not a seller in terms of letting go of my collection. But because we're getting all of this, I have to make room and really get rid of games that I just don't play, or a review purchase and really don't need the game anymore after the review because it just doesn't fit in my collection anymore. So 3 games we got rid of were Cargo Noir. That was the game that came in the collection I bought. I haven't sold much of that collection. I'm kind of picking and choosing as I go through it, like games I don't need or games I want to sell. Sold Cargo Noir. I sold Aroma. And we sold Alone. Alone was the very first game I bought and reviewed for this channel. Was kind of hesitant to wanting to sell it because it kind of was the first game. Unfortunately, I feel like it was just a bad Nemesis. And Nemesis was the game I really wanted when I bought it. And I think I made the mistake backing the wrong version. I bought Alone, not Nemesis. and so I kind of corrected my mistake there. Did lose some money on a loan from my backing, which kind of sucks because that was a Kickstarter exclusive purchase, but still didn't do too bad on it. So that's it. I will keep the closeout relatively quick. If you guys liked it, let me know what you guys liked in the comment section. Let me know anything that you'd like to see different. And hopefully you guys stay till the end. In fact, if you stay till the end, I will do something. I'll just do a hashtag Nemesis, and we'll see if there's something that we can do for you guys. I will talk to you all very soon. Remember, like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. You know how YouTube works. Talk to you very soon.